I will come back from time to time just to say hello and see how everybody's doing. Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Yes, Dan.
Okay. About the cops and the security. When you have the lights, yes, it does show presence, but it also alerts the criminals. If you remember Stalag 17, when the searchlight is coming, you hide up, and then when it passes. That's just a comment.
I got you.
On the wall, I think that the regular fence that we have is much better in many ways. First of all, the cost, of course. Second, if you have a brick wall, unless you put the barbed wire, which is not allowed today, and unless you put the broken glass, which is probably much easier to climb over a brick wall. Second, if you have the regular fence, you can see suspicious guys ahead, not the last minute. So usually, I think the regular fence will be much better.
These arguments should all be brought forward when we vote in the fence. And by the way, because of the nature and location of that fence, we can put an 8-foot fence without seeking a special variance. George.
I just want to remind everybody, and it's in the UCO Reporter, they did a terrific job, and I want to thank Joy and her staff. October the 5th, we have another Operation Pill Drop, going to be right out here in the lobby, right during the meeting from 10 o'clock in the morning to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Just to remind you, we did the last two that we had, we did about 170 pounds of unwanted medications. I've been approached by many people that still have plenty. Bring it in then. Let's get rid of it. Do not throw it down your drains. Do not throw it in your toilets. Do not throw it anywhere, but just in the garbage. Bring it in. And for those that are worried about prescription numbers and everything, just so that you know, these things are packaged in taped up boxes, and the whole box gets incinerated. So you don't have to worry about your personal information being lost. But let's see if we can beat out the last two, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, George. Randall.
David, I was hoping to offer a suggestion regarding your disposal of the minutes on a monthly basis. As you know, there was no quorum today, and understandably, you did not ask for any corrections. My suggestion is this: there's no rule against asking for corrections without a quorum. As you know, last month we approved May, June, and July's minutes, but you're not republishing these minutes, so you can't ask for corrections. So if you were to ask for corrections when no quorum is present, in the future, like next month, we expect there to be a quorum, you can approve the minutes knowing they have already been vetted for corrections. So you might want to do that now, or not.
I thought we did ask for corrections.
No, you didn't, because there was no quorum.
Okay.
And that's what you've been doing every month, that there is no quorum.
I got you.
So if you start asking for corrections, which there's no rule prohibiting,
Right.
then you have it on record, the corrections. When you finally have a quorum, you can ask.
No, I'm not arguing with you. I could swear we asked for corrections to the, but are there any corrections to the minutes? Obviously. Sorry about that. Yes?
David?
Wait. Oh, no. Marilyn's next.
That's okay.
Okay. Hi, Marilyn.
I'm Marilyn Gordetza, the president of Camden D. We had a very unfortunate incident recently. One of our owners, who was a little bit upset about something, took a tool and banged the bottom of our lift. It was rusty, and so it didn't take too much to do damage. Somebody did see it, one of our residents saw it. We immediately called security, and nobody came. Nobody. And then we called PBSO. We were a little hesitant about calling them because we didn't want it to turn out to be a major issue. But PBSO came, and they did make a report on it, which is basically what we wanted to do. But I was very disappointed in security.
All right. Obviously, we will put this on Eddie Black's desk. I'm surprised, but please keep in mind, I just noted collaterally, these are not sworn county officers. They can really do nothing but show presence. They cannot arrest anybody. And what I'm hearing from you is a blatant case of vandalism, and PBSO would be your first choice. It really would.
We wanted her to be aware that
Yeah.
she did something wrong without making, having her arrested or something.
But I
like that.
agree, when you call security, they should dispatch a rover, just to hear and take a report. All right?
Exactly.
And we'll fix
Thank you,
that.
David.
Ed?
Ladies and gentlemen, all of you, a happy and a healthy new year. I want to add one thing here. I'm not here to complain about this or that. What I'm here is to acknowledge that the people who come here are interested. By my count, we've had 4 meetings, 4 delegate assemblies that we didn't have a quorum. That is a disservice to those associations where the people take the responsibility, they run for office, and they don't come. There's no limit to the amount of delegates that they could have. I feel we should, and this is before my time, I feel we should reinstate something that was done here in the past. And that is, does my building know that I'm coming? We have 2 representatives. Did anybody come? Does the other associations who are not represented here know that they're not being represented? Our government has a roll call, and it's published. You could see when any one of your congressmen or senators attends or doesn't attend the meeting. And I think a simple publication of those buildings that attended, people read the UCO Reporter, they could see they're not being represented. What we have here is we're talking to the convinced. You get up in the morning and you come. 4 meetings and it's not even the end of the year. That is horrible. That's a third of a 12-month period. Why go through this? Why have people working? Why put on the lights? We must have something that will indicate to those associations that they are not being represented.
All right, I will reinvestigate with the attorney. He had concerns about holding people up for ridicule, but you're right, we used to publish those associations, and unless Rod says flat no, then we can do it again. We can do it again.
My suggestion is that we could have a vote. The delegates could vote. So who are we putting up to ridicule? In other words, I think everybody here would like to see more people.
That's what he's saying. Oh, that do come.
Well, you said, I heard you say before that you didn't want to put people up to ridicule. So if you publish those that come, you're not putting the others up to ridicule, and if I read the
No,
paper...
I got you. I think it would be much more effective, though, to publish the names of those who are not being represented. And
I agree 100%, but if you're concerned about...
we'll work it out. Thank you. George?
Okay, first of all, David, I'd like to thank you for the plug for the COP program.
Oh, yes, of
We
course.
certainly need it. And as long as we're speaking about the COP program, I drive at night for 3 hours, and I got to put in a plea for people who are walking to please either carry a flashlight or wear white, because with dark clothes at night, especially last night where it was raining, it was very hard to see somebody walking, especially if they were walking on the street. So please, that's my fervent prayer for the new year, that when I do drive at night, that I see a lot of white, whether it comes from flashlights or white clothing, I would really appreciate it. Again, thanks very much, David, for the plug.
Thank you, George. Yes, tell us who you are.
Hi, my name is Rhoda, and I'm just
A
curious.
little closer to the mic.
Curious about not getting the email about our security report.
You did not get an
Have
email?
not, and yeah, I used to get an email.
Are you on my bulk list? You're sure? I don't know why you're not getting it. You're going to have to tell us.
is it still being sent out?
Huh?
It's still being emailed?
Oh, yes. Yes.
That's strange, because I get everything else.
Yeah. The security report wasn't prepared as of last night, so you didn't get one this month. I hope it will be ready for the meeting. I think it will. All right?
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Hi. Linda.
Yes.
Hi, Linda from Berkshire Sea. I'm just concerned with the time frame it's going to take to put a new fence or wall or whatever is decided. Is there any way we can put something temporarily up? I mean, we're depending on the security, which we've heard is not doing what they're doing. Do we have cameras up? I just had one instance a couple of weeks ago where I was driving out of Okeechobee and I saw a gentleman with a shopping cart with all his belongings in it. And I called security right away and they said, oh, no problem. He was called into the gate. But and I took it upon myself because I've heard so many people say, see something, say something. I think that's something that we have to really tell the people we need to do, But the whole thing is, it is a little scary, I'm sorry, to just say, well, and then, if I misheard you, that what is up now is a temporary construction fence around the golf course?
If you look behind your building, you're going to see this long, cheap, meandering chain link fence.
Right.
And it's along the property line. It's along his property line. It's been there for some time. There's really no security in it. There's no top rail. There's no bottom rail. You can literally just step on it and walk over it. But he has not taken that down.
But are we depending upon that for our security?
No. I will tell you that until he put that up, based on his construction application, there was never a fence there
Okay, but,
between us and that golf course.
right, but it seems that because of the things that have happened just recently in the last 6 months to a year, that maybe we should be looking into,
All right,
security around our own premises and not
Yeah.
worrying about what he's doing.
Let me tell you, some time ago, I made preliminary investigations of what it would be involved for us to put up a fence, which would have to be on our property. But it's not UCO property, it's association property, everyone in here, and I would have to obtain a legal easement to put that fence up across your land. How long would that take? It could easily take a year. What would that cost? Unless it's going to cost someone something. Either everybody pays for it, or we lay the costs on the individual associations. Are you thinking about this? Can you see the debate that's going to rise? 6,500 feet of fence, what kind of fence? This could be even chain link at about $40 a linear foot. Do the arithmetic, 6,500 times 40. This is a lot of money. And I just don't know how people are going to respond. And by the way, that fence, that construction fence, it comes so close to some buildings that you can't get heavy equipment back between the fence and the building. So you want to wash your building. So you want to paint your building and run a truck back there. And we tried to get support from the fire department, and it didn't bother him one bit. The captain said, "Oh, our trucks will just roll over it." So we're not going to get any help from there.
Oh, no, I understand that, but the longer we wait,
I-
the longer it takes. So unless we institute something or start something, if you don't start it today and you wait a year, it's going to be a
All
year
right.
longer and a year longer.
Your point is well taken, and in terms of money, we are establishing reserves. But I don't know if you're a board member.
Yes.
Do you want the whole village to pay for that fence? This is,
The whole village security.
or do you want the associations serially to pay for their chunk of it?
It's the whole
And that issue will come up here. I'm just saying, this is not a decided project.
Well, let me just ask one more question.
Of course.
Do we not have the Atlantic broadband money that we can use for that?
Yes, we do.
So,
You want to use that before
just saying, it's an option.
the Okeechobee fence. I'm just saying priority-wise,
There's a
along
lot of money
Century,
there. It's an option.
or along Century Boulevard. What about that
I
fence?
personally would like it all refenced,
Yeah, I got you.
but that's one vote, right?
I got you. Thank you. Dan?
Okay, sometimes life dictates exactly what the laws should be. Now, we know that for 4 or 5 months in the year, we don't have a quorum, and actually we cannot function. Now, is there any way we can change the law so we can have something we can function and make it much lower? Because it's much more democratic to have the quorum here, what number may be, than the 20 people that makes decision for 14,000 people.
Okay, we could, and the head of our advisory committee, sitting right there, Anita, take a bow. We can certainly, and have considered an idea that Bob Rivera probably first surfaced, where you would look at the number of delegates present, you would take a vote, and the majority would rule. Think very carefully about that.
It's more
I'm
democratic than just 20
That's
people.
one option.
Yeah,
And certainly, we could do that.
yeah.
But is it a good idea? I don't know. You tell me.
Well, it's better than 20 people making a decision. for
Yeah, I agree.
40,000, yeah.
I agree.
Okay, and another thing, if in few words, if you can be more elaborate about how the new internet is going to work. Is it going to be a part of the basic?
Are you talking about IPv6? You said the new internet. Oh, AB, Atlantic Broadband.
It's the future that we're going to have for the new program.
That's going to be an optional choice of every individual, okay? Just to pull a number down, $21.99 for 100 megabit service. If you can get along with 25 megabit service, and believe it or not, folks, I know instant gratification is wonderful. 98% of the people in here could get along fine with 25 megabit service. You know, if all you're doing is email, a few pictures back and forth to grandkids, and that's only $17.99. But you're all going to have a choice on sign-up day whether you want internet. Oh my! Yes. Oh, you've been waiting a long time. Please.
I'm patient. Pardon me. I'm Julie Boychuk, Wellington H. First, I want to thank Joy, Stu, all of you that contribute to the UCO Reporter. You turn out a terrific item. Secondly, again, regarding the reporter, I clipped out at least 6 things that the information related to my building. I urge all of you to be sure, don't just read it for entertainment. Read it for content, for the fact that it will be very helpful to you and your community. And again, I say thank you.
Follow up on that, please attend the meeting of the reporter/communications meeting, or if you can't, send in your ideas about the sort of thing you might want to see in the paper. Or write an article. Write an article. It may get printed.
Mike is here.
Yes.
George?
Yes. I saw on the blog revised list of the committee meetings.
The meetings, yes.
Now, do I understand that there's some finance committee meeting next Friday?
I thought it was the 21st, but that doesn't sound quite right, not next Friday. This is only the 7th.
No, next
2
Friday,
weeks,
will be
yes.
the 14th. I think that.
2 weeks.
I looked at it yesterday, and it's.
Oh, the WPRF budget meeting?
No. I'm not sure, but it's not the meeting.
All right, George, I don't have it memorized. It is what it is. Somebody pull it up
Okay.
on their tchotchke. I mean, huh?
Oh,
14th, WPRF, everyone says.
okay, thank you.
Feel happy and free to attend. Sir.
Richard Handelsman, Plymouth 5, 3 comments. First, Mr. Richland's comment for Atlantic Broadband. There's a meeting Wednesday at 11 o'clock at UCO. If you have any ideas or issues or questions, come to that. Secondly, about publishing the names of people who do not show up. You don't need to publish their names. Just say that Plymouth 5 was not represented. Each individual association knows the names of its delegates, and they can handle it internally. There's no need to publish the names of specific delegates. Thirdly, about a quorum, state law requires a minimum quorum to be 1/3 of the registered delegates. I believe we have about 348. And
49.
I'm not sure the exact number, but 117 is the minimum required by state law. Anything less, maybe there's a workaround, but I do not know. Thank you.
All right. Anita.
Yes, thank you, Richard.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much. Happy to be back. I was just going to say that we will address this in advisory. We'll take a good look at the state law, and I believe you're right, Richard, and we'll look for ways to encourage people to, by our bylaws, to attend and participate. Just a reminder that advisory meets once a month, typically the second Tuesday of every month at 10 a.m. Come, bring these issues up. It's just a good place to do it. We are currently revising the bylaws anyway, and we expect to have them done this year, and we will, of course, bring them to you when they're done. But in the meantime, come to the meetings, and this is just one issue that makes sense for us to consider. Thank you.
All right. Do we have another speaker? I got you. Oh, David.
Hi, David Givens, Camden O. Barbara, you mentioned before we're going to have an AMR meeting. Yes. Is there anything in the, I know there's an article in the paper, but is there anything that could be posted on the bulletin board of each building to let people know this is a very important meeting?
Well, it's going to be in the paper, and I can have flyers up there, and you also have it, I'll have flyers in next month's package,
Okay.
so they can tear it out and put it on their building. We just didn't put it this month, it's too much in advance.
Okay.
They might forget it, so I figured next month we'll have it in, all right?
Okay, thank you,
Thanks, David.
Could I just say one thing, please? Many years ago, in theaters around the United States on Wednesday, they used to have a free dish night. You would come and you would get a dish, and the audience would be filled up. I don't want to sound facetious, but maybe we could get some company to provide us dishes, and we can fill this audience up without a problem.
All right. It's been pointed out to me that, and I forgot, we have a new chair of our search nominations committee, and that new chair is Louise Warner. Yes, ma'am. Please.
Please, my name is Ruth Lasky. I live in Gulf's Edge, right at the edge I don't sleep at night. You may think it's what color the wall will be, what color the sign will be. Safety is what I'm concerned about.
As soon
And
as we
please,
can get this.
whatever you decide on the wall, make a decision soon.
Okay.
I don't want an accident to happen or something terrible to someone because my back is right at the entrance to the village.
Understood.
So I don't care whether it's a wall or a fence or whatever. Security is what I'm interested in for myself and my neighbors.
All right. Thank you. I think maybe we should hear from Mike Pratt from the Property Appraiser's Office. You have something for us?
Yes, thank you very much, David. One of the things, the new property appraiser, Dorothy Jacks, has produced a new brochure that has everything in it. We're going to get them to the office, the UCO office. What's interesting about it is that not only how you appraise the property, but how to file for homestead exemption. We used to have about 5 or 7 brochures, but now we have it just on one piece of paper, and all the information is right there. So we'll be getting those to you through the UCO office, and we'll bring them each month. And thank you very much, David.
Betty?
I think we're on. Okay. I'd like to make a comment on committee meetings. I think perhaps if people could come into the clubhouse for a committee meeting, you'd get a better attendance. Everybody cannot get over to UCO. I personally, right now, I'm not in a position to drive. There are other people, I'm sure, in my position. If, again, certain committees, most committees, could meet in here with public transportation, I think you'd get a better attendance.
Okay. Anything else? All right, I'd like to offer, come up here.